I'm ready to start working on replacing the spinnaker halyard on my lightning mast. Last season it broke right here at the sheave by a lot of wear and tear. I'm going to show you how it looked. There's some maybe 4 or 5 seasons. Time to get a new halyard. In fact, I'm not going to get a new one. What I'm doing is I'm going to use the old one, shortening it up, and I'm going to turn it around. So now the end that was in the boat is going to be the end that is going to be attached to the spinnaker. So we don't have the same. It's going to be newer on the end here, and there's no chafe along the rope in the same spots. So just reverse the halyard and use your old halyard, unless it's in bad shape and you need to buy a new one. These are the tools that I have ready here to work today. My drill with a 3/16 bit, a couple of stainless steel pop rivets, a pop rivet gun, this little hook that is always very handy to fish the halyard inside the mast, and some duct tape. Now your mast might be different than mine, the way you have arranged your spinnaker halyard and how it comes out in the boat. So mine goes from the top here, inside the mast, all the way down internally, and it comes out at this spot right here at the end, which is inside. There's a pulley that changes the direction of the halyard, and then it goes down back to the end of my centerboard case, where I can pull it up and down or let it down by myself. So I'm going to need the help of the jib halyard to bring down the halyard, the spinnaker halyard, all the way to this one here. The jib halyard comes up more or less at the same height than the spinnaker halyard, so that's what I'm going to use as my guide and my lead line to bring down the spinnaker halyard from the top. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off the spinnaker halyard sheave from the top of the mast. I'm going to take off these 2 stainless steel pop rivets. I'm going to take some little work here. Okay, job's done. Don't forget to tie your the end of the jib halyard or your main halyard, if you're going to use that one, to guide your spinnaker halyard at one end here. Happened to me before that I forgot to that one, and then I pulled it in and just went inside the mast, and became a major problem. So using the hook, you're going to fish the jib halyard from inside here by going behind the jib halyard sheath, and then you pull out the jib halyard and identify which is the one that goes down all the way to the mast. So in this case it's this one here, and this is where I'm going to attach the spinnaker halyard, so I can fish it down at the mast. So now I'm going to attach the end of the jib halyard to the end of the spinnaker halyard to the middle of the jib halyard here. I make it so it's kind of tapered. That way you won't have any problems. Make sure you tie this really well. Even though in this case you won't, it doesn't really matter, because the worst is that you're going to have to do it again. But in some cases, if you don't do it tight, depending on what jib halyard or spinnaker halyard or main halyard you're doing, you might lose your leader line and then you're in trouble. Anyway, this would be enough. I push it all in there. And before I start pulling from the bottom of the mast, I want to make sure I have a good tension in the topping lift and the main halyard, so they're straight inside the mast and this won't get tangled with it. So let me do that part. Okay, now at the bottom of the mast I start pulling my jib halyard. If it gets stuck before you pull, maybe you already reached the pulley inside here. So now I'm going to get my fish hook and try to fish it from before the pulley. Once I got my spinnaker halyard all the way down, now I'm going to separate it from the jib halyard and then fish it from where it's going to go finally through this pulley inside the mast. Okay, now I have the spinnaker halyard going through the pulley and it's all the way smooth from the top to the exit here at the bottom of the mast. One thing I want to do, and you might want to make sure, is to put a lot of tension on the jib halyard as if the jib was up, and the same thing with the main halyard. Put a lot of tension on that and then try pulling the spinnaker halyard up and down, see if it runs smoothly. If you have any friction or any force, it means that you might have to redo the job because the spinnaker halyard is tangled around the jib halyard or the main halyard. Anyway, those are the things that if you at the beginning put a lot of tension on both on the you can't do it on the jib halyard, but you do it on the main halyard first, and then after you fished it all through the mast, double check that, because that can cause you troubles later on, especially when you take down the jib and put up the spinnaker and so forth. Seems like right now it's running smooth, so I'm going to go up now and make sure I get the sheave back in place. So this is what I'm going to do next. Get it back in again and use the pop rivets to secure. Seems like it's running smooth. And I got a spinnaker halyard.